Just enjoy.
All right, we'll do a quick sound check. Sound good?
Give me just a second. I need to get to the.
No, we can keep it. It's perfect. Sonia, are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. All right, everyone. Welcome to Founders Live Minneapolis. We're excited to have you all here with us, both in our studio audience and our viewers online. We always like to start by thanking all the people that make this possible. So for the folks that are here in the room, we have many sponsors that support Founders Live. If this is your first Founders Live event, you are in for a treat tonight. We have 5 amazing founders that are going to be pitching their companies to you. We will have our expert panelists who will be asking them questions. We also have some new technology that we're going to be debuting as well. And you're seeing for the first time the new Minneapolis Founders Collective space. So you are some of the first folks to be invited into the space. We had some help from some very special people that are here with us that made this possible. So Minneapolis House of Design, we'd like to have them stand up so you can see them. Our Minneapolis House of Design folks, for those of you in the room, are responsible for the beautiful mural that you see above us here in the room. So that was done by them. They created that. Very soon in that empty space that you see above us, we'll be going the Minnesota Founders Collective logo. So you'll be seeing that logo debuting in the near future here. They will also be housing some of their unique art pieces in the space. So these light boxes that you see that currently are empty will end up being light boxes that will showcase Minneapolis House of Design's pieces and artwork that you'll be able to purchase when you come into the space. When you are here. They also helped us with some of our beautiful logos that were designed for both the Minneapolis Founders Collective and Valhalla. So we'll debut those later on. You'll get to see those as well. For those of you who haven't met them yet, if you're here in the space, try Koya Blue. They are over here to my right. Koya Blue is a Minneapolis-based tequila company. They will be doing a mixology segment during our program tonight. So you will have a chance to get to know them a little bit better later on. We'd also like to thank Tonka Vodka. So any of you in the room that are getting cocktails, Tonka Vodka was our local Minnesota-based vodka company that sponsored us today. We also happen to have Pioneer Power Solutions. So again, the beautiful part for the folks here in our audience is you will get to, after this program, go out and experience eBoost and eBoost Mobile, which is the unit that's right outside. These are brand new EV charging units that provide fringe power. So we'll explain what that is. That's a lot of stuff, but I'll let Gio do that better than I do. But they have offered to be here with us tonight. We also have a mobile sewing lab. So for those of you that don't know how to sew and want to take a turn at that, our mobile sewing lab is outside that helps you learn how to get in touch with your sewing side of things and your creativity. So we'll show you that. That's actually used for youth and children to teach them the art and craft of being able to create things through sewing. They'll be here. Three Sisters Rentals donates our chairs. Team Women is always one of our partners. Brevity, our pitch coaching, will explain what they did to get ready for tonight. Yay. Also a Minnesota local startup. So very lucky that we have all these amazing companies that are here in Minnesota that support us. Online Growth Systems, one of our sponsors. The Film Fest, which is located just down the road from us over here. Burning Brothers, and a few others, but those are our main ones. And then Global Minnesota as always. So we'll talk about them as well. And then we will get on to who some of our folks are that are with us tonight. So our expert panelists tonight, we have 4 distinguished guests that we are excited to have with us. So I will bring up our expert panelists to our stream so you can see them. They're now seeing you. Lovely folks over there on the stream as well. But we will let we will talk about who these folks are. So the first one you're seeing is Mark Ritchie. Mark Ritchie is the president of Global Minnesota, been someone responsible here in Minnesota for many amazing things that are coming to the Twin Cities. Huge advocate of our community and bringing things to Minnesota and opportunities for Minnesota. Mark, thank you for being with us. Next, we have Katie Burke. Katie is the executive director for Team Women. So very excited and proud for all the work that they do supporting our local communities, as well as programs for youth. So they have an Empower program that is bringing opportunities to young women to advocate for them and give them the tools and toolkit and techniques they need to be successful. So thank you, Katie. Next, we have Alyssa. Alyssa and Lucas are co-CEOs of Gray Search and Strategy, an amazing search and strategy company located here in the Twin Cities, but services national clients all over the country. Some of the folks, if you're having trouble finding those amazing, talented people, these are the folks you reach out to, and they are able to find amazing humans for your organization. So, Alyssa, thank you. And then our last guest may look slightly familiar because you can find his face lots of places. So we have Dave McElroy, Sony recording artist, television show Hang Time. That's now, I heard, one of the top shows on the Outdoor Channel. Number three on the Outdoor Channel. So many things he does. For those of you that are in the space, we'll have Dave talk about it later, some of his projects, but he actually has a new clothing line that just launched in partnership with Unreal or UNRL. And that's over in our space. You'll get to see that, but that's a brand new launch of the new clothing line, Minnesota-based founder as well. So you'll hear more about that, but thanks to all of you for giving of your time to be here with our founders. Our next piece that we'll talk about, we have some special guests here tonight. So one of them will bring up later. Johnny's going to talk about some of the trends in investing. So Johnny's been around the Twin Cities market, does a lot around investments and what the trends are right now around companies and what people are doing. We'll bring him up later. Jake's going to come up in a second, but first I am going to have Dave come up and talk a little bit more about some of the special projects we're doing in this space around the Founders Collective, because he's been a big part of that with the clothing line, as well as our Origin Stories podcast, which will be filmed in this space as well. So yeah, we'll bring you up here. Then they get to see you. There you go. We'll put you up there.
I like this picture of me a lot better than the last picture you had of me.
I know. I trade them out just to keep you on your toes.
I may have grown out my facial hair and put on a cap since that last picture.
I need it.
For those of you who don't know, Bonnie was supposed to be the judge this evening, and I've judged in the past, and Bonnie was unable to make it this evening, so I filled in. I'm Dave McElroy, country music artist Dave McElroy. This space has become a really cool and unique space. Already, some of the founders and some of the people that have been brought in from the Minneapolis area to headquarter out of here is quite amazing. Brilliant. And I can't wait to see some of your artwork go up. It's really cool. It's going to house my clothing line that I just started with UNRL. Very excited about the clothing line. It's Minnesota based. It's made here. My company and their company are both from Minnesota. We do a lot with you, Koya Blue. You're going to be, as a matter of fact, I'm having a Christmas concert here next week. In this space right here. You're all invited. I've got my special, some of you might know my special guest, Ezra Tuaolo. Familiar with them, Minnesota Viking, runner-up in The Voice, and Todd Epley, a great musician from the area. And so the three of us are going to be putting on a Christmas concert here next year. Koya Blue is going to be providing our beverages, and they're going to be bringing some food in for us. It's going to be really cool. So please to all your family and friends, and we just want to have a joyous evening of celebration and good cheer. The clothing line. When I decided that we wanted to do a clothing line, we wanted to make sure that it had a certain feel to it. And that feel was that surrounds around my show, the Hang Time Show, right? Which is love, acceptance, um, um, just a feeling of joy, right? So when you're wearing it, you feel warm, you feel comforted. Whether you're by yourself at home, you're out on a hike somewhere, you're with a bunch of friends out in the town, or doing something together outdoors, it's supposed to feel like that, right? And it's supposed to just be a place of warmth and of joy. And a big chunk of the proceeds from that clothing line will all go to charity. So that's what makes it special. Tonight, we're doing an extra big chunk of the profits. So if any of you want to buy any of the clothing line, we've got 4 hoodies, 2 different kinds of hats, 3 different kinds of T-shirts, and it's expanding from there. The line, and we've got some really sweet backpacks that have all the pockets for all the things. So please stop over before you leave, and we'll get those sold to you. And a big chunk of those profits are going to the JNS Hearts of Gold Foundation. So. All right. So, wait. What's the most important thing that we're doing together here, Jen?
It's origin stories.
Come on up here. This is our baby.
I know, right?
Right. So, Jen and I started a podcast called 612 Talk, which is going to be shot right here in this space. Yep. And it's origin stories. So everybody thinks when somebody accomplishes something great, that it was super easy. They're climbing to the top. They had a silver spoon in their mouth, or they got the break, or whatever, right? And what do we find out?
Yeah, we find out there's a lot behind the story of how they got to where they got. Like we've talked to Tula already, and he has an amazing backstory that a lot of people don't realize. Same with Mark Parrish, right? And what he's been through. Yeah. So
it's crazy the struggles that people have, the realism that goes into being great, and what drives people that are great. And it's pretty neat. So, we're going to be releasing that in the beginning of the new year. So we're going to be filming a bunch more here, and then it releases in the first quarter of next year. So we're pretty excited about that. 612 Talk, y'all.
Yep, Oregon Story 612 Talk.
All right.
All right, we are going to announce one more new thing. So I'll bring Jake up to talk about something else we're pretty proud of in relation to the space. Before I have Kelvin come up and talk about what he did to get these 5 founders ready. We do this stuff in the beginning so our 5 founders can get those jitters out. I don't always like them to go first. It's nerve-wracking to be the ones to stand up here. So we always check that we got all the kinks out before they have to do their part. But next, we're going to introduce something new called the Holoverse. So, Jake, do you mind coming up and take it away? And thanks again to Minneapolis House of Design, these logos that you see.
Jim, should I look at the computer?
Yeah.
Thank you, Jen, and thanks everyone for coming. It means a lot to me for a lot of my friends that I've done business with or been colleagues with for many years to be here tonight. So, Jen asked me to talk about Valhallaverse. So many of you have probably seen over the last couple of weeks, couple of months, this discussion on the metaverse, right? Like, what is it? Well, we define it as, and when I say we, so Jen, myself, Sonia, and Greg over there have collaborated to build a platform, a technology provider, where we will bring in not only physical, because the cool thing about this physical space is that it's going to house this digital metaverse, right? So Valhallaverse is an effort to bring physical businesses, physical communities to the digital space. And what do I mean by that? There's a lot, right? In one of the first meetings we had, I said, how do you eat an elephant, right? One bite at a time. So some of the things we're going to be displaying and bringing the physical digital are things like Sankofa, which is a Title IX event where high school women athletes are vying for D1 scholarships. So it's like the combine for women college sports. Sankofa will be hosted on the Valhalla platform. So think about when you used to go to something like a CES, right? The conference in Vegas, and everyone was there physically. Now take that and make it digital, where anyone in the world can be there, can feel like you're walking through there. You can be talking to people in a booth when you're in China or when you're in Mexico or Chile, or name wherever you want to be. Same with the other things we'll sponsor there is an education platform, right? And Vince is over there. So imagine kids that, maybe want to go to a different school district or maybe want to learn something else. It's evening the playing field where somebody can learn whatever they want to learn from their home or from their school district. We can partner with districts themselves and provide them content, where someone could move to Florida and still maintain the Minnetonka School District, things like that. What am I missing? What are some of the other partnerships we're going to do? Esports. Oh, yes. Here's a really cool one. So Warrior Games out of Colorado, they put on both physical, like rugby tournaments, and at the same time, esport events. So again, you're bringing the physical and the digital together. And probably every time we do this, when we bring a company on our platform, there's a cause associated with it, right? There should be. Why not? When you're doing well, you should be doing good. And that will happen on the Valhalla platform. So I could stand up here for hours and try to explain this, but it's a work in progress. It's an evolution. The metaverse is pretty esoteric, but really what it is bringing physical companies and their communities to the digital, where anyone can participate and anyone can be involved. And you can really be anywhere at any time. And there was someone else, we were having this cool conversation about, imagine being in your house, but having dinner and wine in Italy with your cousins in New York. And you're all there, you're wearing the Oculus, which we'll demo today with REM 5. That is what the metaverse, at least in the beginning, is going to be. And I just read an article today, Bill Gates, blah, 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 is talking about Teams and Meta integrating, right? So where you can have a meeting with anyone anytime. We've seen this during this pandemic where productivity is likely skyrocketed and you don't have to fly somewhere. You can have meetings with anyone in the world at any time. But instead of feeling isolated, you can feel like you're in the room with them. That's part of the metaverse. And that's part of what Valhalla will be bringing, not only in the digital, but we're going to have it in this space as well. So we'll have the physical and we'll have the digital both here. I think that's it. Yeah. So thanks, everyone.
All right, now what you're all here for, right? So the big pitch competition. We have 5 amazing startups that are here with us. Cleverify, which is an amazing technology, which you'll get to actually hopefully boost. Mario will let me, can we boost him and put him on? Okay, so he'll show you what it's like to be on a regular Wi-Fi and then what it's like to be on Cleverify. So we'll let you see that here in person. This is going to do some amazing things. We're talking about partnerships right now between Pioneer Power, Cleverify, and Valhalla around fringe technology to support people today that don't have access to basic internet. And there's some communities in Minnesota right now that less than 40% of that community has access to Wi-Fi, which I know sounds crazy, but we'll talk about how that's going to happen. Then we move on to Daddy Sam's, which is a company that was introduced to us through Team Women. Katie is an amazing connector, and she found Daddy Sam's for us, and they've got some new products coming out. First Tech is amazing technology targeted at corporations and companies and helping them with optimizing travel. We've got optimized recovery centers, which is around having better recovery for people and the holistic version of people when we go through what sometimes happens to all of us in life. And then REM 5, as Jake mentioned, we've got some of their technology over here. We're very lucky that less than 10 minutes from where we're sitting right now, REM 5 has an amazing facility that if you like what you see here tonight, you'll be able to visit when you want to, as often as you want. It's a great destination location for kids, adults, anyone looking to explore those technologies. And they're doing some amazing work with students as well in bringing that technology of augmented reality, virtual reality to the kids. But before that, let's bring up Brevity and Kelvin, the CEO of Brevity. Kelvin, thank you for being here. We couldn't do this without you. Why don't you give me your Brevity pitch of how you got them ready?
All right, under 60 seconds. I'm Kelvin, CEO, co-founder at Brevity. We've essentially created the Grammarly, but for a business pitch. And the big thing that, I want to shout out all the founders that, used our software, used our coaching. It is not easy to get up in front of a room of people, even for me that runs a pitch company. But the one thing I want to highlight about Brevity, one, we've created timing logic to where when you go onto our platform, you enter your pitch goal, audience, and time. And then because of my great partners, they created a way to calculate and recommend the number of statements, but then also the number of slides you need to keep your pitch on pace and on time. So I want to give a shout out to my COO, Chelsea Hughes, and then my CTO, Richard Schwab. I could not be here without them. The help we give the entrepreneurs, they are the brains behind the AI. So I'm super excited to see some great pitches today. Thank you guys for attending. I think that's about it.
I always ask him to tell me who he thinks is going to win, and he never will, right? He won't tell us. So we'll get on with this now. We're going to bring up Mario first because he will be our first founder for Cleverify. So Mario, if you will come to the stage. Well, oh, actually, you know what? Just kidding. We're going to let Gio go first. Oh, we're going to let Gio go first. Say, yeah, no, that was a Jennifer moment. But no, we're going to have Gio come up to talk about this amazing unit that they brought. And, you know, Gio's here from LA. So he comes to visit us a lot, but he came a long way and then brought this first truck that's here for all of you to be able to see. This is brand new technology. So if you check the newswire, this was just released, right, Gio? When did the newswire come out? Was it just
a couple of weeks back?
Couple of weeks back. This poor man has been on call after call with the media and the press and all these other humans, but he stopped everything to come here and be with us and bring his whole crew and the truck, right?
Yes.
And some heat. I heard there's heat out there.
Yeah, there is warmth.
There is warmth out there. All right, I'll let you take it away, Gio.
Thank you so much. So before I even go to the Go Live people, a couple of things I wanted to say. Thank you for welcoming me to Minneapolis. Coming from California, it's a little nippy, but it's okay. Deal with it. This space, it has gone through some amazing transformation in 2.5 weeks. And there are some amazing people behind this who have done this. And I'm so happy to see the transformation. So before I do all of this, I am going to take about a minute to do something I like to do, which is there are a few startups here, and startups are near and dear to me because I've lived that life. I know the life. So to work and get them into the space, if you guys can cooperate with me, everyone stand up for a minute. If you can't stand up, put down your mobile phone. You won't need it. Okay? Okay, you guys have to participate too.
Okay.
All right. So this is something my mentor about 20-something years ago, I'm dating myself, taught me. And it is to get energized. All right? So this is what I'm going to do it so you guys see it. Okay. All right. So you guys see what
be doing this.
Yeah. So this is what you're going to do. I'm going to do it first. It's called a primal screen. Okay? It brings out the energy, it calms you down, and opens up your airwaves to really hone it. Okay. So this is what you're going to do on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. Now, you ladies are going to think, I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to hear it. I can tell. I've done this with 1,000 people, so I can tell. All right? So on the count of 3. All right? 1, 2, 3. Okay, all right. See, I already know there are some people that are just like, I'm not going to. Young lady, have you seen that? Okay, so one more time, right? Let it go. No one's watching you. You're not on camera. Well, actually, you are. But, okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. All right. Thank you very much. So now that you can breathe and you're relaxed, so we are at the transition at the what's the right word?
Game changing.
No.
Focal point.
Okay, close.
Focal point.
We're at the precipice of energy transition. Okay? So So when we think about the grid reliance and reliability, it's one of the things that maybe you don't think about tonight, but millions of Americans think about. And with the fast charging we are doing with EV vehicles, this becomes a bigger problem. Why, you may ask? Right along with that is the climate change. If you look at the wildfires in the West, if you look at the hurricanes in the South, if you look at the floods in the Midwest and Northeast, power or power outages are at the core of a lot of these things, right? So along with this is our EV charging grid today. And this is what it's going to be in less than a year. So you're talking about massive power consumption. So utilities and actually government officials are very concerned about this. So what do? Well, we need a decentralized, decarbonizing, sustainable way to be able to support this. And that's where we are trying to help. We're not the only ones. So eBoost is basically EV charging at the edge. So the unit outside, it's our pilot unit, is named eBoost GOAT. Any guesses on what GOAT is?
Greatest of all time.
You know, we're humble. We don't go that far. Thank you, though. But no, it's very simple. It's a generator on a truck. So, although it's nice to at least get that recognition of GOAT once in my life. But so we have 4 principles we're working with here, right? It's EV charging mobility, wherever, whenever. That's the first principle of operation. Second one is grid resilience. So off grid, but on all the time. Sustainability. This is the core at what we do, and I'll talk about it a little bit more. But it's green today, it's greener tomorrow. And we have a path to net zero, which is what's exciting. And then connectivity. So the more, while we have 5G today, we all experience this. There are parts like 5 miles from here where you really get no data coverage, right? But connectivity is so important to everything we do today. From the basic, I want to send an emoji, to doing online college applications. So fast, secure, frictionless experience is one of the other things that we want to work on and provide it to you. So sustainability. I wanted to highlight carbon intensity, right? When you talk about carbon intensity, this is kind of a chart that shows you diesel today, which is used for a lot of power generation as well as backup power generation, is 110% carbon intensity. Gasoline is kind of the baseline. It's 100%. We have started with propane because of 2 reasons. One, it's a green fuel with low GHG emissions, 43% lower than the grid, and I'll get to that in a minute. Plus, it's available all throughout the US. The more rural you go, the more available propane becomes as a fueling agent. So the grid, which you think is very clean, unfortunately is 35% carbon intensity. Can anyone name why that is 35% carbon intensity?
Coal.
Exactly. Unfortunately, we're putting a lot of solar in, but the reality is when there's energy crisis, coal is dependable, reliable, and there. So we can't get off of it. But it's an initiative we have to take collectively as humans to try to go there, right? It's there for us, but we need to separate away from that. So we're starting at propane today, but in the very near future, next year, commercial grade RLPG, which is renewable propane, is coming. That instantly moves without any modification to what we're building 19% carbon intensity. And a very smart young lady in Southern California, in San Diego, has started a company called Oberon that created a molecule, an additive called RDME. It's renewable dimethyl ether, which is an additive when you add it to renewable propane, takes the carbon intensity to 0. The company that she runs and the commercial grade plant is already backed by the Department of Energy and Department of Defense. So that's how good it is. So there is a direct path to get to net zero. And that's what's exciting about what we're doing. But again, this is not us. This is we're partnering with other folks to get there. So when we talk about eBoost, in the portfolio, we have 3 products. The one you'll see outside today is called eBoost Goat. So it's complete mobility, and it's, you can call it truck-mounted EV charging. That's a simplistic way to say it. We take it 50 kW to 90 kW so that it's manageable in truck. What does that translate in EV terms, right? So in EV terms, you can charge a Tesla, and we go 0 to 80% in about an hour, probably about 45 to 50 minutes, okay? But eBoost really is I need a boost. It's not to go to 100%, it's not go to 80. It's just to get, hey, I'm kind of low and I'm freaking out. So I need 10 miles, 20 miles, something like that. That's done in 5, 10, 15 minutes and you're on your way. So eBoost Mobile is a trailer mounted version. So here we can go with higher power usage. So we can go 90 kW to 150 kW. What this means is now you can charge that Tesla in probably less than 35 to 40 minutes. And then it's necessary mobility, meaning you can tow it around with an e-truck or anything you want, anywhere you want to go. eBoost Pod is as required mobility. So you can still put it on a flatbed truck and take it wherever you want, and it'll start charging the next minute you drop it off. But we can go up to 350 kW. So that means some of the newest cars, EVs, we can charge it in 8 to 10 minutes. So when America starts moving, and I mean moving across the country, and they want to make a quick pit stop and charge, that's what we are trying to do. So a few use cases I want to kind of run through. eBoost Go, right? When you look at, this is a concept that we are looking for partners to bring out, which is the Uberization of charging, right? Because range anxiety is at the height when you have that many EV cars. I know in Minneapolis you don't experience this, but in California we do. We get on the highway, 10 miles to get home, I got 20 miles to charge, I'm good. And then the traffic stops. Then it's not moving for a while. And it's a warm day. Sorry, I didn't want to bring the R out, but the AC is running. And all of a sudden, you don't have that much charge. That's where this type of scenario comes in. But beyond that, it's a rescue vehicle because EV cars, when they go into brick mode, meaning when they go 0, tires don't rotate. You have to put it on a flatbed and tow it somewhere. That's just, there's no other way to deal with it. City parks, a lot of cities have gone EV with their vehicles, with their lawnmowers, things like that. So in order to get mobility or vehicles moving, this is something to integrate into their fleet, so to speak. Schools, school buses, as they take on propane, natural gas, this is another area to go into. EV food trucks, this is a big focus on mine. I love food trucks and the concept of that, but reality is they're taking up a lot of energy and they're burning it up. Well, they lose sale if they have to move and go charge. So cities are now starting to move them into electric EV food trucks, right? So in order for them to stay and continue their sale, they need someone to come and give them a boost. And those are the scenarios that we would come in and help. When we talk about eBoost Mobile, but this is a trailer-mounted version, we're looking at car dealerships. We're looking at rental car agencies. We're looking at rental units for filming, for movies. You know, they have lighting needs, but they need the talent may want their EV cars charged. And distribution centers, typical distribution center, an e-semi truck would stop for 15 to 30, 45 minutes to unload or load. And we can meaningfully charge them in that time so they don't have to stop again to charge. And then there's this one called Humanoid Spike, which is happening tonight. Can you guys think about where that is? It's not very far from here. Yes, Vikings. There are a lot of people in one place. In the near future, that's a lot of EV cars in one space. There is no infrastructure out there that can put that many chargers in Viking Stadium, where the Timberwolves play, any sport, rodeo, concerts. People will need them inevitably. This does that in a short period and does it quickly over time. So we call it the humanoid spike events. And then finally with eBoost Pod, we're really taking it to rural. When we look at geography of America, I break it down to urban, suburban, semi-rural, and rural. But the weird part is every state in the US has those 4 segmentations. You go to California, you go to Florida, you go to New York, you've got that. And as you get more semi-rural and rural, there are not as many EV chargers, and it's going to be a disparate thing. But when you want to travel from Niagara Falls to New York City, you still need to charge. And when you have a holiday weekend with a lot of people traveling, there has to be a way to do it. And there's not enough infrastructure to put in. That's kind of the idea of eBoost Pods. Beyond that, gas stations, they can add revenue by adding eBoost. Because these come in, you can get permanent chargers or you can move them out to another gas station if you want. Remote exits, hotels, fast food chains. As you get semi-rural, rural, there are a lot of applications you can put in. And the strength of propane gets even better. So why eBoost? Why now? So I look at it in 5 different things, right? Geography is the key. When you look at America and how this bill will play out, the cities, the main metros, like Minneapolis, are going to get a lot of chargers. But as you get further out, you're not going to see as many. There are regulatory challenges because certain utilities cannot transport or pipe power to certain areas. So therefore, you're going to have areas that are challenged by that. Equity, and this is one that is very important. Certain neighborhoods aren't going to get the same number of chargers because people think, well, those people are not going to have EV cars. Well, you think they're not going to have EV cars. You're not going to have as much traffic into the businesses there. If you want equity, you have to bring that there. We can do that, even if it's temporary, to show that there is a need and it serves a need. Simple practicality, and then foremost cost. And when you say talk about cost, every time you put in a charger, there's utility work you have to pay for and civil work. I mean, you have to actually break up the cement and repave it when you do all of that. And then every time you add another one, you have to do that. We don't need to. We come in from our Champlin plant directly and drop it. We're completely, we're made in the US, but we're actually locally made in Minnesota. So with that, and before I get off here, I'd like to invite 3 gentlemen back there who are fairly shy, but I'd like you guys to come up because this is something very important. So we are, Pioneer Power Systems, we're publicly traded on NASDAQ as PPSI. This is the brand new division. The division here has been around for years. I was part of that. I was part of the process of acquiring that company. And these three gentlemen, Matt Taylor, Brandon Martinson, and Josh Grandy. I call him Josh all the time. So, the inception or idea of eBoost was not from a computer nerd or a marketing whiz. It actually came from the team. And we have a large team across America who has dealt with power generation, distributed power generation generators. So when they came up with this idea, it was for us to figure out how we can do it and make something better out of it. So it's important for us to say that, I get to stand up here and do all of this, but these are the guys that really make it happen and really brought that. So with that, thank you very much.
All right. Thanks to you. Thanks to that team. For those of you in the room, we'll have you head outside later. Not right now. You got to sit still for a second because now it is Mario's turn. Right, Mario? Are you ready? For real this time. For real this time. So they get 99 seconds. This is going to go fast. So everyone pay attention. At the end of our 5 founders that pitch, we'll put up a QR code. Hopefully you all know how to use those. We're going to teach you if you don't. You'll set your phone up to it and you'll be able to vote on the winner. So you will be selecting our winner along with our esteemed expert panelists over here who will be voting alongside all of you. But with no further ado, Mario, I will turn it over to you. Sonia, don't start him yet. She's real tough on this 99 seconds, I tell you. But I can't take any of his time. But thank you, Mario. And Mario came to us all the way from
Texas,
from Houston.
But I'm actually originally from Italy.
But do you hear it? I was just going to say, do you hear his accent? He sounds like he's from somewhere further away than Houston.
I grew up in Italy. I came to America. I'm not an American citizen. I love being here. And I really, enjoy transforming the world to a better place. And
there you go.
This is the place where you can actually do it in America. All right, everyone. My name is Mario Soave, and I am the founder of Cleverfi, a company that is improving the Wi-Fi for travelers. I'm sure you all travel and you had issue. What's the first thing? You got to ask for the password. How many times have you asked that? And how many times did you sign up to those complicated forms, giving out your email just because you needed to go on Wi-Fi? And of course, if the Wi-Fi wasn't working, nobody's there to support you, right? And I am an Airbnb superhost. I have apartments in New York City, and I have host a lot of guests. I realized that many of them are not tech savvy. And so I created a solution that would allow you to travel and connect to any home in Airbnb, for instance, with your own password, connecting all automatically and securely. Just like at home, okay? And this will work for you and anyone traveling with you. And it doesn't require any app to be downloaded. I'm running an MVP in New York City on few Airbnbs, but also on cafes and restaurants. And after making some experiment, I realized that I want to really target the Airbnb because right now Airbnb is booming, and there are 3.5 million properties that are managed by businesses and 3.5 million that are managed by moms and pops. So I'm planning to sell a subscription to the businesses so that they can provide a better Wi-Fi. But I'm also providing a freemium version for moms and pops because they're also not tech savvy, and they need to provide the Wi-Fi for the people that travels. I also have a US patent granted on this technology, and I'm raising $500,000 for a pre-seed investment. Thank you.
Sorry. I should have done it last time. That way nobody's mad at me.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
4 minutes of Q&A.
Up one with the property management with 360 apartments. They're really struggling with all of the coordinating, cleaning, check-ins, door locks, Wi-Fi, and they don't want to get bad reviews. So they're investing money to make sure that the property are top notch. And I will be part of like one pilot program soon.
When does that go live?
and experience that because I have it running in 2 restaurants, 1 cafe, and the 2 Airbnb. But like to go like live, it will be next year.
What's your cash burn?
Right now, I'm pretty good. $500 a month, I would say right now.
What have been some of the biggest challenges you've dealt with since?
Like definitely, I was like ready to launch in 2020, and the travel all stopped. But what's going on is that, for instance, Airbnb had its best quarter ever. This quarter, they did more reservation than pre-pandemic because people now are, a lot of people can work and study remotely, so they start to be digital nomad. They live on Airbnb or they spend a large amount of time traveling. So now is actually the right time for me to go to market.
Who's your competition?
Right now, there are like Wi-Fi for Airbnb hosts, but they all focus on the marketing side. Again, stealing everyone's email, just bombarding people. My solution really puts you, the customer, at the center. It provides you a simple password, an experience that works exactly the same as in your home. You don't need to type it every time you travel because when you're in your home, you just arrive, you don't even look at your phone or your laptop, you open it and it connects. So my experience is not about marketing. It's about really bringing this easy to use technology for everyone.
Can we all try it today?
Yes. So after, everyone pitches, I have like a couple of routers set up. You can come to me. I can show you how it works.
So
So
how
blockchain
does a
style
one
Wi-Fi.
password work? I don't understand that from a security standpoint.
Great. I'm going to explain this, if I might, in plain English for everyone. Okay. So would you sleep in somebody else's bed on an Airbnb? No, right? On somebody else's bed where they didn't change the bed sheets. No, you won't. It's a normal thing. Every reservation, someone goes and changes the sheets, right? If there is a lock on the door and it has a code, you hope that somebody changed the lock code every time somebody else goes in, right? So for that, you have cleaning service, you have the security that automatically changes the lock, and Cleverify, what it does, it connects to the router in the home because the host authorized me to manage the Wi-Fi on their behalf. And it basically changed the Wi-Fi name and password to be your personal one. So that when you arrive, you have your own personal Wi-Fi. And it's more secure because it has your Wi-Fi. So basically the Airbnb host, the same way they schedule cleaning, they have the lock system, they will have Clarify for their existing router. So I don't need to ship anything. They can say, okay, I use Xfinity. I'm connecting my Xfinity to Clarify, and I let Clarify manage it because I'm not tech savvy and I don't want to have anything to do with the Wi-Fi. Let them manage it. So that's where we come in.
What's your price point?
So we want to start at $99 per year for the businesses, okay? And obviously we want to give volume discount. When you have like hundreds and 200 of apartment, we'll give a discount. But for the moms and pop, we really want to give it to them for free.
Keep asking them after the competition.
Yes.
Yay.
Great.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Mario. Great job.
Thank you.
Great job. All right, well, keep rolling. We're going to bring up our next founder. And next, as you'll notice, all of our founders have very different businesses, very different companies. So these are all in different spaces. So now we're going to move from Wi-Fi to barbecue sauce. So thank you for joining us. I will let you take it over so you don't start her yet. All yours.
Oh,
Just,
I'm happy to
do
start
you want to, not, just if you want to advance your slides, just hit that. That's my advance. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Whenever you're ready.
Howdy, and welcome to the Daddy Sam's Pitch. I'm Kyle Oglesby, proprietor and boss of the sauce at Daddy Sam's. Daddy Sam is my great-grandfather, and we craft authentic and all-natural Texas-style barbecue sauces and soon dry rubs. Our sauces and rubs are so versatile, we can help with the weeknight meals and the weekend barbecue masterpieces. We started Daddy Sam's because we couldn't find anything like it on the grocery store shelves. We wanted a clean, all-natural Texas-style sauce. So that's a molasses, vinegar, and mesquite-based sauce without any corn products, fillers, or anything artificial. Almost anyone can enjoy Daddy Sam's because our sauces are vegan, allergy-friendly, and without any kind of corn products or fillers. Our award-winning barbecue sauces are for so much more than ribs. We have over 15 awards to our name because with the Scovie Awards and the World Hot Sauce Awards. Our unique and versatile flavors hit a sweet spot in the marketplace. We have very strong distribution in the Midwest, and we also have regional distribution in New York, Georgia, and in Northern California. Daddy Sam's generates turns in a crowded and competitive and passionate category. And we are ready to serve up so much more. We are looking for introductions to consumer packaged goods investors and any advisors that can help us scale. Daddy Sam's has an amazing story, amazing flavors, and a really big picnic table that everyone is invited to. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for brevity. Hold on, before I do, because I
Shouldn't even practice.
not at all.
It's not our age.
All right. 4 minutes starting now.
I have a co-packer in southern Minnesota. Co-packing is it's a difficult issue and it's hard. So I wouldn't say that I've got a perfect co-packing solution, but you know, we're struggling through, and I would love to be able to, in a few years, raise enough money to create my own manufacturing facility. That's the dream.
And the prices that you share over there, are those the prices on the shelves in the stores?
Well, the stores get to set their own prices, so no. The range here in the Twin Cities runs from about $6.99 to $8.55, and the rubs are not yet ready for retail. I'll be launching those in Q1.
Okay, I was gonna ask when that was. And the biggest challenge you've dealt with since trying to.
Co-packers, that's just the hardest. It's, you know, and during the pandemic, I was really like getting ready to scale right before the pandemic. So, and co-packers have 8 million people trying to get them to, you know, manufacture their product. So getting a co-packer has definitely been the hardest part. Yeah.
How many are on your team with you?
Just me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great job.
Thank you.
That's how everybody starts.
Mhm,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's some very impressive stories.
Yeah.
You've got some very impressive, is that on a regional level? Is that why you're trying to scale up? Can you take that national?
Yeah, I'm trying to get a national distribution. So I do have a very strong regional distribution here in the Midwest, and I would like to start to scale that and get some efficiencies in our co-packing, because that's when I'll really be able to start to kind of like make this a more viable business. It's, you know, the efficiencies that I don't quite have yet. Part of the reason I really wanted to launch the rubs is, well, number one, I think they're fun and fantastic, and I wanted to blow the, you know, dust off the brand a little bit, introduce something new, but also it's a more, it's a less unstable, I should say, product supply chain. And so I'm really, as much as I want to introduce the rubs because I think they're fantastic, and they're amazing. I'll give you some samples, but also it's going to help me with my cash flow, because those, you know, I won't have to buy the same amount of inventory at the same time, and the supply chain interruptions are not as severe.
Who are your partners in Georgia?
Oh, Unique Food Distributors. Yep.
So for our
Woodford.
pescatarian friends, do you have anything for fish?
Yeah, we have a salmon and seafood glaze, which is our barbecue sauce for fish and seafood. We've added lime, ginger, tweaked the spice mix a little bit just to create something with a nice citric acid bite for those who, and then we also have a fish and seafood rub with some lemon peel and brown sugar.
Okay, define Texan, because I've been doing work in design development since the 80s in Dallas, McKinney, Houston. I love Texas. My wife, her family lives in Texas. Define Texan.
So low and slow, getting your glaze on, and our base is molasses, and then we also use mesquite smoke. Nothing wrong with hickory, it's just mesquite grows everywhere in West Texas, and it's just a little bit mellower. So like if you, the further, east you move, you're getting into more mustards and vinegars, and the further north you move, you're getting into ketchups and honey. And so that's what I like to say, there's no competition in barbecue, just depends on what you're looking for on the night.
Memphis versus Nashville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that there is.
So Memphis is more dry rub, and the farther west you go, it's more dry rub. The farther east is more soupy, but you have both.
I do. I have dry rubs and I have sauces. Yes.
So the shelf space, though, what's the price on that? On the shelf space to get into, say, Target or.
Are you asking me how much I pay to get on the shelf?
Or if you do in general, I mean, you don't even need to.
And we're done.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not paying anybody anything. I'm not paying
Sell it
anything.
to 'em.
Yeah, I sell to distributors.
Here's the thing.
All right, and we're gonna move in our aid here. There you go. We will move this in. Next up, I know that. Look at how tall you got.
I know, I'm really
this is-
tall.
We built this stool for me actually because we were afraid you wouldn't be able to see me, but I'm glad it came in handy.
Okay. Okay. And that's just
All
this
right.
one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. I just can use this is great. I love it. It came in handy where we had a 8, but take it away with our next startup. So we're on startup 3, 2 more to go, but we'll let you guys take it away.
All right. Thank you. I'm Vicki Bierke-Schur, founder of Fairs Tech. Pre-pandemic, business travel was a $1.4 trillion industry. Corporations spend a lot of money on travel, typically between 1% and 10% of annual revenue. One strategy that they use to reduce travel spend is to negotiate discounted hotel rates. However, research indicates between 15 and 30% of negotiated hotel rates are loaded incorrectly or not loaded at all to distribution systems. Unfortunately, many corporations don't have the resources to audit their rates or to ensure that the rates are loaded correctly. This leads to hundreds of thousands of dollars in missed savings. So we've built a hotel rate audit tool to reduce the manual effort currently required to audit rates. Our intuitive user interface allows users to schedule audits to run automatically. Our thoughtfully designed dashboard highlights the potential cost of rate errors and provides insights into problem areas. Users can view historical data and store notes on each property. We are targeting corporations with managed travel programs and travel management companies. We are currently onboarding 7 corporations and 2 travel management companies for beta testing. Our team includes travel industry veterans and SaaS experts that can offer a fresh perspective to an expensive problem.
Thank you.
Seems like there are many areas you could grow into.
Building and then managing an entire corporate negotiated hotel program. We started with audits because it's quicker to market. It's a quicker sales cycle.
it seems like because of the pandemic, your conversations with your potential clients might be easier to get right now. Would that be true because of the slowdown in
Right.
travel, so now people are really trying to reinvent?
Absolutely. People are trying to reinvent their programs. Cost savings are more important. And some of the negotiated pieces of their rates are really important to them right now.
Would you integrate with other current corporate companies or even retail companies like an Expedia or, those scaling retail companies?
Yeah, we are, because we're on the business cycle, we're not looking at kind of leisure yet, but we are looking at companies, travel management companies or travel platforms. So,
The platform is just open enough to be able to integrate if you needed to.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question about your background? So tell us more about who you are. We didn't get to that point, just how this
Yep.
came about.
So I have been in the travel and hospitality industries for over 20 years. I have used the tools and they're terrible. Every year I would tell my husband I'm quitting my job. I am cashing in my 401k and I'm building a better tool. Every year I would decide that's a terrible idea because I hold the insurance, I hold the steady paycheck. Then the pandemic hit. So I lost my job with nearly everyone. So my husband and I decided now is the time to build that tool.
Are you local?
Yes.
And so that's a tight-knit community too.
Yes, it is.
Providers. So again, going back to the ease of getting into the marketplace, has that been beneficial for you, given your longevity in the industry?
It's been very beneficial, not only with getting into some of the travel management companies where I still have a lot of contacts, as far as some of the suppliers that we'll need to work with. I have a lot of contacts there. And then the team that I'm working with, my CTO, he and I work together at CWT.
Okay, got it. And what's your price point then? Does it vary?
It will vary. So for overall platform, we're looking at probably doing a percentage of overall travel spend. For the audit tool, we're kind of experimenting with you can't really tie that to their overall travel spend. So we're looking at a couple options.
Yeah.
So what travel management, are you able to say what travel management companies you're partnering with or looking to partner with?
So we are onboarding a couple of clients from CTM, which is a large travel management company, and Direct Travel.
Okay.
How big is your team right now?
We are, wrote it down, we are at 11 people right now.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
And so as you look ahead, let's say a year from now, what successes do you hope to have within the next year?
So I think over the next year, we are looking to have a very successful beta launch. We are hoping to add, because we're doing travel management companies as well as corporations, we would like to also add travel program consulting companies. So that would be very successful, and then get started on the RFP portion of the next bit for the platform.
Are you in a raise right now? Are you raising money, or what are you looking for?
We are looking for introductions to corporations and
Yeah, sorry, guys, I am the type who doesn't.
Do you want, yeah, I was just gonna ask if Jesse wants you want this tool. All right, so we're moving on to our next company, Optimized Recovery Centers with Jesse and Louisa, co-founders. So Louisa is in the audience as well. Awesome. So we have the co-founder in the audience for us. This is our 4th of 5 founders. So stay with us. We've got one more after this one, and then we'll give you guys instructions on the voting process and all the other pieces. Jesse, you ready?
I am.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Jesse, take it away.
All right. Hello, my name is Jesse Reed. I am co-founder of Optimized Recovery Centers. We are focusing on customized recovery and healing reimagined. ORC is very important to me because 3 years ago, I had blacked out, and it was discovered that I had a clementine cyst in my brain, and it needed to be removed. My family and I had little guidance on pre and post-op recovery expectations. Let's just say that it got dark real fast at times. But I did my best to set up my own personal recovery plan and was able to get back to work within 6 weeks in a traditional where it takes 6 to 12 weeks to get back to that. But in retrospect, I was able to look and see what could I do? What can we do better? So what we started with, what we're looking at is what can we do? We do a comprehensive assessment that does a 360 view of a patient. Then our team of medical and healing experts creates an individual recovery program that uses Western medicine and evidence-based complementary methods to create a specific plan. It educates the patients and caretakers about what to expect and sets a process that ultimately reduces complications of after a procedure, cutting down and reducing the time spent in a hospital, and promoting early recovery and back to normal activities. We knew that there was a large evidence out there, but we realized that 51.4 million surgeries happened in 2014, and of that, 13.8 million brain surgeries happened a year. So our ask right now is we need to connect with people who are in the medical industry, have run clinics and health and wellness businesses, and are passionate about healing from there.
Wow.
Jesse, will this be,
We're still in the discovery phase of all this, but initially we'd like to have come into a clinic and have all the modalities come together, where we understand really what the patient is about. So we dive into what their DNA looks like, what their blood work is, what their past medical histories are, looking at psychological, like where they're at, getting their preferences, and really understanding where it is and getting it right there. And then one of the experiences I had that was very difficult was how to take all of these cool different modalities that you could do with healing, like massage therapy, acupuncture, cold therapy, and have them come to you, because being able, there's enough stress after you have a major medical event to have, understand who is going to be the best and have that opportunity to have them come to you, or you have a centralized location for that.
Including medical devices, or
it can be medical devices if that's something that would fall into the plan. That's definitely there for sure.
So have you heard of the Center for Spirituality and Healing, or?
I have heard of it, and I've heard that it does have some of those modalities.
Okay,
Yeah.
so would it be I'm trying to visualize what it's like. Is it a model like that, or Penny George's Institute for Health and Healing, or Cloud Walk?
It'd be very similar to something along those
Okay,
lines. Yes.
and so where are you at in your process?
We're in the super early phases right now. I've done a lot of self-experimentation, so understanding which are going to be some of the best DNA testing models to understand what is my muscle structure look like, what is going to be the best healing methodologies for that. I've looked at stuff to do with gut biome and what are going to be the preferred foods that if I eat them, it's going to help me heal the most and create less inflammation in my body. And then also just a lot of self-experimentation for that. So building out that repertoire and then starting to build some software that takes all of this separate, disparate information, collates it, and creates a more better picture from there.
so, no, Mark, I already
How
asked.
do you see this and the closest?
Things that was very important to me, that we missed out on, was understanding what is the whole process from start, preoperative, what can you make so that's important, and then also what are the expectations that are going to happen afterwards, because having brain surgery, there's a lot of things that are a mess. So helping them understand very collectively what it could be the potentials, and then also having that support for them, not only for the patient, but also for that model as well.
And so I'm trying to visualize this. This is after a procedure and interacting with both, you talked about Western medicine.
Correct.
But coming together, so long term, you'd see it all within various clinics.
Essentially, it's in one clinic that comes together. So, and that's where you have your centralized specialists that we hire in. So you have one place to go and not have to be shipped out all over. And that's really specific, but it starts pre-op because there's so many things that you can prepare and plan for when you're post-operative. So like specific food that you need to eat, if there's definitely medical devices that are going to be needed to help heal and keep you
Or
moving.
neuro or stroke or pulmonary or.
Totally.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how much of your methodologies are physical opposed to spiritual and psychological, emotional?
Great question.
That's a great
After.
All I hear
We're just gonna take a sec because yours is special. So it's gonna be.
Hold on one second.
Hold on, we gotta get the.
Hold on, we have it.
If that helps.
I'll try to be done by then.
Otherwise, it would just be.
We'll see.
You would mention.
Yours are gonna be like that. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll make
So
a
you
note.
don't know.
Flip through the
There's
slides.
a few founders that were here before.
See?
like,
Oh, okay.
And I used to just
Yeah.
yell.
Sweet.
I upgraded my phone, now it actually does it for me.
All right, Sonia, fifth and final founder, but you have to stick with us because you're gonna have to vote then, right, on these five. So don't forget. Fifth and final founder, but RIM 5 has some fun toys in the room as well for you guys to play with after our session also, right? Will you let us play with?
Depends if I can finish in 90 seconds.
Oh, okay. Well, let's do this. All right, you go.
All right,
Thanks, Amir.
cool. The time lady is distracted right now.
The time.
Are you good?
Hold on. Did you,
All right.
do you want to just start?
Yeah, go. Cool. All right. Thanks for. All right, let's roll. Hello, everybody. My name is Amir Brenji. I'm the co-founder and CEO of RIM 5 Virtual Reality Laboratory. We're a XR innovation and experience center of the now and of the future. So immersive technology like virtual reality, augmented reality is well on its way to changing the way that we work, learn, play, socialize, the same way that PCs did, the same way that mobile phones did. And now we're on the doorstep of the next iteration of the way that humans interact with technology. So looking around this room, how come we don't see this technology everywhere? It's because there's too much friction and this tech just isn't accessible to those who need it most. So that's what we set out in 2018. We started RIM 5. We have an 8,000 square foot facility right up the street here in St. Louis Park. And we set out to make VR and AR accessible, frictionless, and purposeful for the community. Nights and weekends, we do VR and AR for arts and entertainment, just like a Topgolf, but with high-end VR. During the day, we're focused on learning and development. So think K-12 education, bringing the Magic School Bus to life, and corporate training. We're focused on soft skills training, which we can talk about later. Like I said, we started in 2018. Since then, we've worked with schools to Fortune 500 companies. We've worked with 30,000 users to date, which makes us among the global leaders in designing, implementing, and deploying XR at scale. So as we set out for growth for 2022, we're looking to raise $3 million to really pour some gasoline on the foundation that we've built and continue with the momentum into the future. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Thanks.
13 seconds to spare.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry.
So, as an ex-athlete, my first question is this, and this has become very, very important. It's become very, you're seeing centers pop up for brain training, right? For athletes, people with head injuries, brain injuries, whatever. Is there an element of that, you talk about training, that can be used? Do you have a platform inside of your VR that allows for that kind of training as well?
So the short answer is yes, 100%, but we have to stay in our lanes because there's so many really amazing use cases for this technology. So I'm a hockey player. So selfishly, I got one of the first VR training hockey sims in the US at our site. And now a lot of the NHL teams are using it. To me, I use it for fun and it's a toy, but we can't build a business around it because we've decided to focus on learning and development in K-12 and corporate training. So it's a long way of saying yes, but it's not our business.
I think in this question, I'm talking about more about, you can use it for learning. I'm talking about brain training.
Yeah.
Those who have had concussions, things of that nature, that like a good friend of mine, Ben Utek, went through brain training. And visual is a big part of retraining his brain, so he wouldn't have all these memory lapses. That's right.
Yeah, 100%. And like, even if like a hockey goalie, you're essentially doing brain training. Dubnik did all the light training, everything. Doing that in VR is just the next iteration. It's just not our lane, essentially.
Neural mapping.
So with
So you're not doing neural
kids,
mapping.
with kids K through 12.
Yep.
Especially those with like ADHD or something like that, do you notice that they respond better using VR technology to learning and
Yeah, I mean, engagement goes through the roof.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, so if you think about VR being able to democratize experiences, we look at K through 12 through 3 lenses. One is it can supplement their existing school books. So instead of watching a movie on Mars, let's actually go walk around Mars with the classroom. 2 is it creates equitable access to experiences. So we can bring kids to the White House, tour the Anne Frank house, things that a lot of kids can't do in the physical world. And then lastly, it's going to be the next generation is going to be the ones that create the so-called metaverse. And so we spend a lot of time with youth, just exposing them to the technology, teaching them how to code, teaching them how to build worlds in these spaces. So those are kind of the 3 lenses we look at it through.
How expensive is it for schools to?
That's why we exist, right? So we can make it completely turnkey and white glove. Whether we're working with Cargill, they have the same issues that St. Louis Park Public Schools do, right? It's still early. The hardware is all over the place. The software is all over the place, the curriculum. So we come in and just provide everything white glove for them and make it accessible. So like we can now we're charging St. Louis Park High School different prices than what we're charging at Cargill, but we can make it work.
Yeah. So what is that? What's your pricing structure? And also, do you have separate teams, I'm sure, in sales for schools versus corporate?
Yeah, it totally depends. I mean, when we're working with a school, it's more of a field trip type model. So it's $20 a kid. Sometimes we can work and get grants. When we're working with larger corporations, you're $10, $20, $100,000 engagements.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you done like a full experience, like a state fair or something like that, where people sign up and
the limit for us? It's, does the content exist? Like, can we either license the content from someone else in the world and push it through our channel, or do we want to build it? Do we have the funding to build it ourselves? Right. It's no different than your mobile phone, right? It's just a hunk of metal without the actual software.
so tell us something wild that you've done for some client.
Great question, Mark. Really, but nope.
All right, so we made it through all of our founders. So now we'll put up the QR code for all of you watching online. And then for our folks in the room, this is your time to vote. So we'll be announcing our winner after a few of our commercial breaks. One of them, what's really nice about Founders Live is this isn't just a community where these founders come and pitch one time and then they're gone. In this room today are several of our founders who are previous Founders Live Minneapolis pitch contestants who've been on this stage and pitched and now have their products that'll be showcased here in our Founders Collective. One of those we'll mention is Zeza Fitness. So Zeza, if you want to wave for the folks in the audience, so they know where you are. Zeza has these amazing stability balls and fitness equipment that they're producing, along with, if you're here in the Twin Cities, they've also got a location where you can experience it. But the neat part about it is they've shared a piece of that with us, and they're hard to come by, but they've allowed us to have some here in our space. So when you get up and have some time to move around, please come see our friends at Zeza. Pretty soon, we're also going to have Koya Blue. Koya Blue was on this stage, one of our winners of our pitch competition that's going to be doing some mixology. Minnesota born and bred, you could say, for how it was developed originally. So they will be coming to the stage as well. But the idea and concept is that we keep these founders close and that we all support them. So I would tell you, as we move around and we move from the conversations and pitches, that you guys have conversations that are here in the room with these founders on connections, ways you can support them, helping them around some of the things they need to help drive their businesses right now as well. So we will be bringing up, I'm going to put up the QR code so that you guys can see it. So we will get this up there for those of you in the room. I'm going to bring that onto the screen here as well for those of you who are, hopefully it'll, yep, it just takes a little second to render. There it is. There's that QR code. Can everyone get that? So we want you all to vote. These founders worked really hard. So if you need to stand up, we'll let you move around in the room so that you can vote. For those of you online, we want you to be able to vote as well. We're going to give you some time. It should pull up a voting deck for you. All right. We're going to leave that up again for those of you in the room. Come as close as you need to, but I want to make sure everyone votes. We want to give these founders a good opportunity to get your votes weighed in. All right. While we do that, I am going to bring up Koya. Is Koya Blue here? Are you guys ready? All right. Let's see if they're ready. I'll leave this up while we have Koya come to our stage. So do we have Rachel? Sonia, can you grab Rachel for me? All right. Everyone's voting intently here in the room. Hopefully our online voters are voting as well. Tough choices, you guys, for the 5 founders. Everyone was fabulous tonight in their pitches. Thanks again to Brevity, our pitch coaching that each of these founders got. Pretty impressive. You could notice they got it right in on time as well. All right. Rachel. All right, we are going to bring Rachel to the stage. As I mentioned, Koya Blue won our last Founders Live that we had. Rachel is the managing director and COO as well, right? CFO and managing director for Koya Blue. And so maybe give us a little bit about Koya, the history, the background, and then like how and what would you pair these with? So some ideas for us. So we'll let you take it away.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you, Jen, for that introduction, and great job on the founders tonight. That was amazing and super fun to watch, and also not as nerve-wracking when you're not pitching, but awesome job. Love to watch that. So first, I'm actually going to talk about tequila a little bit first, and then we'll get to Koya Blue. Yeah.
Love it. Who doesn't want to learn about tequila?
Yeah, let's learn about tequila. So first of all, show of hands, who here is a tequila drinker? Okay. Wow, we have a great crowd here. I love that. Lots of tequila drinkers. Okay, show of hands, who really doesn't care for tequila? A couple? Okay. Yeah, that's not correct. Okay, so for the few of you, we'll have a conversation later. So we'll talk about tequila. Here's a few facts about tequila. Not everybody knows this. But first of all, tequila is from the agave plant. So it is plant-based. It is the only spirit that is plant-based. It's also an upper, so not a downer. Some of the other spirits are downers, not the uppers. It also has probiotics because it's plant-based. So that means it's actually easier for your body to digest and process. And it's definitely cleaner for your body. So people will say after drinking tequila, you don't have as many hangovers. It's easier. Yeah. And then there are 3 main types of tequila. First one is a Blanco. It's clear. So it's not aged. I have a tequila connoisseur. He's saying there are 5 types. I'm going to talk about the 3 main types. If he wants to join me, he can, and we'll talk about the 5 types. But we'll discuss 3 tonight. So the Blanco, which is clear and not aged, used in cocktails, and as we'll talk in a minute, is used in the Koya Blue cocktails. There are the Reposados, which kind of have a gold hue and are aged up to 1 year. They are used for sipping and also in some cocktails as well. Then you have Añejos, which are the oldest, aged in oak barrels from 3 to 5 years. And those are mainly used for sipping. So those are the 3 types of tequilas. And the reason why Koya Blue chose tequila is because of all those benefits of tequila. So we came to market because we had realized there weren't any really great tequila cocktails in a can. You can go to a bar and get some great ones mixed. You can mix them in your home. But in the ready to drink segment, there really wasn't many options out there. They could either be too sweet, too tart, a lot of extra added sugars. None of that was not what we wanted to put into our body. So we right now have 2 flavors. So berry basil and mango habanero. So we use the 100% blue agave tequila, and we use sparkling water. So a little bit of carbonation, but not too much. And then we use natural extracts. We do not use fruit juices. So we also pasteurize. So we also have no preservatives. So gluten-free, no preservatives, organic, really clean, fresh, and healthy. 100 calories per can, 5% ABV. So very light, crisp, and refreshing, clean taste. And if you like to work out and you care about what you put in your body, Koya Blue is a great choice for that. So we currently have the 2 flavors. We have our next 2 going into production soon. And those are hibiscus mint and blackberry ginger. Those are great as well. Mm-hmm. Yes. And of course, pairing with food, the most common food you're going to think of right away is Mexican food, which is delicious and great with Koya Blue and tequila. Absolutely. But also there's a lot of other great combinations. So even with the mango habanero, of course, anything spicy tastes great with this. Even grilled seafood, for vegetables like asparagus, any type of pepper, even sushi. And especially if you're doing any spicy rolls, really good with mango habanero. Berry basil goes great with this, or any type of salad. So anything lighter, salads, grilled chicken, also sushi as well. Ceviche is also great with this one, or even certain tacos as well. And then we are going to be at Rojo very soon. They have some cases. So again, Mexican theme.
And then walk down tonight, down the road to Rojo, you can get a Koya Blue.
We hope they've trained their staff and they have it ready, but they have the cases on site, correct?
Ask them for it. Where else can we get it?
Yes, so right now we are staying local to the Twin Cities. So we will be in Rojo, and then we are working on the others. We can't say them quite yet because we're working on those contracts. But yeah, we will be in other restaurants, bars, liquor stores locally here. And we do have plans to go national, so we will not stay local. Sure, okay, yeah. Yes, yeah, and we are looking to raise capital so we can go national. We can stay local on what we're doing currently, but we are looking for a capital raise of $2 million to start going nationally. Thank you.
What types of investor or firm are you guys looking for?
Great question. So we are looking more for getting more of that capital loan, the term loan, and then we can pay that back with that interest rate. We are a very profitable business, and we will be positive free cash flow in 2023. We just need to bridge that gap. We just need to bridge the gap until we can get the number of quantities out in the market to cover the expenses.
Rachel, do you want to announce our new thing?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Great.
So should we tell them?
Yes, we should tell them.
Okay.
Yes.
Should we tell them who the new Chief Marketing Officer for Koya Blue is?
Yes, we will definitely say who is our new Chief Marketing Officer, also owner investor, which is Jen.
So we're telling you guys tonight for the first time that Pink Powered and myself will be responsible for marketing Koya. So you'll be seeing Koya all over the place very, very soon.
And we are so thrilled to have Jen. She's amazing, and all the work she does. We are so lucky, so fortunate.
Yes.
Have you met the perfecto from tequila yet?
Who is that?
Like authority in tequila?
No,
I need to meet them.
I can introduce.
Okay,
Oh, you
perfect.
can? Oh, that would
Perfect.
be
Well, we're
awesome.
glad you're here sitting in the front row.
Okay,
Done.
yeah.
We'll do it.
One party.
Right, we'll
Yes,
do it.
we-
Perfect.
I'd
In.
love to be that
Thank
person.
you.
Okay.
Thanks,
Yes,
Rachel.
thank you.
And Rachel will be here for this is why we want you all watching online to come in person because we're tasting Koya Blue. So after this is all over shortly, when we find out who our fabulous winner is of tonight's competition, you'll be able to taste tequila, play some AR/VR with REM 5, check out the heated lab outside and the new eBoost that's outside. Talk to some of the folks that came up with this amazing concept from eBoost. But we've also got another, and we've got Dave's clothing line that you can purchase. Charity-based clothing line. We also have, if you haven't Christmas shopped, we have a jewelry designer. They're called Jewels for a Purpose. She's out of California. She is European-based. Only the items here can you get here. She doesn't sell them in stores. So if you need some stocking stuffers, all of you folks out there for your humans at home, these are only here. They're on our Christmas tree. You can purchase them tonight. Take them home for stocking stuffers. So we'll have those available. But I want to bring up another individual who's here to share a really neat thing she brought for all of you to see tonight. We're super excited about it. So do you want to come on up? This was another great introduction from Team Women and Katie. All right. Why don't you tell us what you brought? They'll see you on there.
Okay. Hello, everyone. How are you all today? Good. I know y'all a little restless. We've been sitting down for a while, but let me tell you guys about my Minneapolis, Minnesota mobile sewing company. So I am the founder of Lovely Sewing and Arts Collective. And what we do at Lovely Sewing and Arts Collective is we teach young boys and girls ages 4 to 16 the art of sewing and yoga. So the kids, they come in, they create, they sell. We teach them about financial literacy and money management and help them open up savings accounts or add to their existing accounts. But what I brought to you guys tonight is I brought to you guys our mobile sewing. Because of COVID, a lot of parents are like scared to take their kids out. They only want their kids to kick it with their friends and everything else. So what we do is we branched out to bring the sewing to the kids, to do sewing parties. We also do adult sewing parties too.
We're gonna have sip and sew.
So we do sip and sew.
Did I get too excited about that?
Yeah, as you should. So we do sip and sew. So the pillows that you guys see around you, the Minnesota Silhouette pillows, you can come and sew with us. So if you're kind of scared about sewing, but you always wanted to learn how to sew, you can learn how to sew by hand and on the sewing machine in 2 hours.
2 hours?
In 2 hours.
So you all need to be here for our sip and sew party.
So we'll be having a sip and sew here, and then we'll also be having more sip and sews at our downtown North Loop location where we've been for a while now. So,
Thank you. All right. So for those of you online, again, you don't get to do our sewing, but for those of you here, I expect you to get your coats on after this. Once we announce the winner, go outside, try some of these different things. We also have some food, snacks, those things, drinks here for everyone. But before we end, one thing I wanted to do was, we kind of mentioned it in the beginning, but this space originally was a jewelry store. So it had a lot of work that needed to happen. It also had, when people moved out, they had absolutely kind of destroyed some of what this place was as they left it. So we're in a rebuilding process of having to put back together some of the pieces of that. But there's a couple individuals who literally, I think a couple of them haven't slept in 2 weeks to make this happen. So I just want to acknowledge them and their hard work and what they did. So Sonia and her husband, Michael. So Michael's been here tirelessly as well. And your bartender tonight. Yeah, we all have, it's startup life. Yeah.
But he
Yeah. So tip your bartenders wisely. And then Jake also has been here along with his family. So this is a family affair. So Jake's mom and dad were here supporting us as well. So thank you to the folks that made that happen. And who? Vincent. Yep. And Vincent and myself all have been doing some of this, and Dave's clothing line's in here. So lots of folks to make this happen. But we hope that you all come back. We'll be back again in January. New founders, new things coming in, but new surprises every time. So is everyone ready to find out who our winner was? Yes? You're like, let's get on with this, and then we're going to network. All right. Sonia, do we have our winner?
We do.
All right, so it's time for our winner. Okay. All right, could we please have, and then you get to say a few words, whoever you are, just to us, so you'll come up and say a few words. But our winner tonight, and just to mention, so I will say this too, we have a Venmo code at Founders Live MPLS. What we do is each of these founders that pitch tonight get a prize package. So the funds go to them to be able to make sure they can continue running their businesses and doing the things they need to be able to do, which is really important to us. We also provide, obviously, Kelvin generously donates Brevity and their services. We give them some other things as well. But our winning founder tonight will be receiving a prize package worth approximately $10,000. And then our other 4 founders all will receive about a $5,000 prize package. So it takes a little bit to put that on. So your generous donations are much appreciated. But our winner tonight is Amir and Rem 5. Congratulations. It was close. You can come up, Amir. It was close. This was really close. It always is. Great job to all of our founders. But Amir, any words or what do we, you said you got it in under 90 seconds. So now do we get to play?
It wasn't easy. Yeah.
I know.
Thank you so much. I mean, it's been a long road, obviously, as any entrepreneur the last 3 years with the pandemic. And we do a lot of missionary work for immersive technology. Everybody talks the metaverse these days, and it's the hottest buzzword and will be in 2022. But we're out in the community and empowering our community in meaningful ways every day. So this means a lot. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Congratulations. And I will say too, we're having very good luck in Minneapolis. We had our first winner ever from the Minneapolis Founders Live that we put on, advanced to the national round of competition to compete nationally, and was in the top 5. We're hoping Koya Blue does that next, and then it's up to you to do that too. So we're hoping to have national winners coming out of Minneapolis with the amazing founders we have. So thanks everyone for being here. Thank you for those of you online who tuned in. Thank you to our esteemed expert panelists. Now mingle, make sure you buy lots of things so that it all goes to charity. And we're so glad you were here, and have a great holiday season. Thanks everyone.